Molweni South Africa. Today we're coming from Secunda, which is the land of plenty. I mean, over the past year that I've moved to Secunda, I've realized one key thing. It's that if you put your mind to something, you find a niche, and you see through your idea, you're able to achieve success. Today we are speaking to someone who embodies that introduction, Nkabinde of Umvemvane Trading. I will allow her to sort of introduce herself, but I think before we get to that, my name is Lonwabo Myoli. I'm a business advisor at Seda, which is the branch locally here. So as business advisors, what we do is we assist small businesses with all sorts of, small and medium-sized businesses with all sorts of services, which include 1, business advisory, 2, coaching and mentorship, access to markets through exhibitions. We provide product testing, and then a whole host of services such as business plans, and we also assist these specific businesses with trying to source financing. But without speaking too much about Seda, now I'll give Nkabinde an opportunity to introduce her amazing business and introduce the dream of Secunda.
Good day, everybody. My name is Busisiwe Nkabinde. I am an owner and founder of Umvemvane Trading Enterprise. We are based in Secunda. We manufacture and supply wooden packaging. That will be your wooden boxes, your crates, your pallets, and all other wooden made products. So yeah, we are based in Secunda. We started our organization. It initially started in 2005, but because we were really not sure what is it that we wanted to do, we hadn't found the niche that Lonwabo is talking about. And then in 2017, then we decided that we have now found our niche and we wanted to go into the manufacturing space, and that's where the pallet idea came about, and we've been doing it ever since.
Wow, ma'am. I mean, given this is such a technical space, probably dominated by men, what inspired it, and where did you get the confidence to enter into the space?
Given the fact that I come from a corporate environment, I used to work in the office, so most of the time I would see all these people with overalls. I just didn't understand that, and I would see a pallet, maybe 1 or 2 in the shops or whatever, but I really didn't know what it entails to manufacture it. What does it mean? Until I got into the space. At first, I used to just supply the pallets. I used to buy and sell them to public institutions like your police stations and whatever. And then one day I just decided that I don't want to buy and sell anymore. I don't want to be a middleman. I want to manufacture my own. And that's where the dream really started. So not knowing much about what I wanted to do and how to go about it, I then decided that I needed to surround myself with people that knew, literally. So I then got a couple of guys on board, my partner also, because he's an artisan by trade. Okay. So he was very good as far as getting that technical side of things going. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of that aspect of the technical side, ma'am, can you please just run us through, sort of the production process of your business and the core products that you produce?
Okay, our day-to-day involves us getting reliable suppliers. Okay. I think for us that is key, because if you do not have suppliers that will supply you with timber, you cannot produce anything. Okay. So getting reliable suppliers is one of our biggest challenge, if I may so say. Even though we do have, I feel that we can do a little bit more. Okay. At first, when we started, we really didn't have a lot of suppliers that wanted to supply us due to the type of industry and the history in the industry. It is male dominated, and when I went personally, I was the one who was looking for people that can supply me. If I go in there and I tell them this is what I do and I would like you to please supply me, they would tell me no, our list of customers is full.
Okay.
And one of the suppliers, I said to them, I've never had somebody who says they have a lot of customers, but given that you're not going to help me, I then moved on up until I could find people that were willing to really help me. But for years it has been a struggle for us to get reliable suppliers. We are confident now that we've got at least 4 that we know no matter what they will be there for us. So 4 strong suppliers that supplies us. Not only do they supply us, one of the other challenges that we had was the fact that we just couldn't get credit. We were running a cash business for 3 years. Because nobody trusted that if they give me their things, I'll pay them back. And they didn't know me. This industry is all about knowing each other. So they didn't know me. They didn't want to give me credit. So I had to buy things and sell. I was literally running a cash business for about 2 years. So now we at least we've crossed that bridge now. We are able to get some form of credit from some of our suppliers, which makes things much better. Our cash flow has improved. Our delivery times have improved. We're doing the right things right now. So yeah.
Yes, but I think maybe I'll come back to the aspect of cash flow because I think it's a very interesting process now. I think maybe let's just touch on, so the first part of it all, it's the input. You need to have the quality of the input, and once you have the quality of the input, then you can begin your production process. So ma'am, can you please just run us through a typical production process for a pellet, from when the material comes in to when it's dispatched to the client?
To the customer. Okay. So what we do is we will receive the material. Before you can start working on that material, you need to make sure that first of all it is of the standard that your customer would want.
Okay.
So the quality is very important for us. That's what we spend most of our time on, because when we went for induction with our customer, they were very specific with regards to what is it that they wanted.
Okay.
So quality for me, and the fact that I don't want to mess up those things because I did something wrong, I think I was very cautious about that. So they told us exactly what they're going to use our pallet for, and which processes does it go to in order for it to have packed, to have the load, and how much load do they need on the pallet and so on. So that helped me, because then it made me worry too much about the specification of that pallet. So I have to make sure that the raw material that I receive is of a certain standard and quality. So once I'm satisfied with that, and then and there are no non-conforming material or raw material, and then it goes straight into where we're gonna cut it now into size. So we cut it into size, and then once we've cut it into size, and then it goes straight to the jig. Because there's 2 types of materials, it depends which material you use. If you use pine, because you have to treat pine, there's an ISPM 15 compliant that if you use a certain material, you have to dry it, you have to treat it so that you don't transfer bugs and insects with using your pallets, because your pallet might be carrying food, so you don't want to contaminate your food with the bug, so you have to treat it. So we then have a heat treatment chamber where we put it in that chamber to treat it and get rid of all insects and whatever. Once we are satisfied that it has reached a certain level of moisture, and we know that in the couple of days that we've been treating it has now gotten rid of all the parasites and so on, and then we cut it, and then we take it straight into the assembling jig, where we assemble the pallet. It will stay there up until the quality assurer comes, because there's a specific sheet that we check our quality on. So he will come with his sheet, he will tick everything that he's happy with, and he will tick everything that he's not happy with. And then if he says everything is okay, and then that pallet then goes outside for it to be delivered to the customer. So we do have a delivery truck that loads up to 400 pallets per load. So at this point in time, at the current moment, we deliver 1 load per day. every single day. So for 22 days in a month, we deliver every day.
So you deliver about 400 pallets
I
per
deliver
day?
400 pallets per day. There are days where I would deliver a little bit more because my contract right now with Sasol says I must deliver 10,000 pallets.
Per month?
Per month.
Wow, that's a lot. And then how long did it take you to get to, the stage where you're delivering 10,000 per month?
Yeah. It started very awkwardly and very intense.
Okay.
Our very first order, we got an order from Sasol and they said to us, you must give us 80 pallets. That was our very first order. It took us 2 weeks to come up with 80 pallets. 2 weeks, and we were laughing. We laugh about it now because we do 80 pallets in an hour. But it took us about 2 weeks to do 80 pallets. We did it. We gave them the samples, and then we did the 80 pallets, and they were happy with our pallets. That's when everything else then started. We started from 80 pallets. We had 10,000 pallets now per month. We do boxes, the boxes for the mines. So they use the boxes to also package their engines and whatever that they package with Sasol. So we do that for them. We do about 100 boxes per month. So because of it is a bit intense, it requires a lot. So we do about 10 boxes. They don't really use as much as they use on pallets.
Yeah, and I think let's go back to the initial thought. There was a thing you spoke about, the supply side, which relates to credit. And then now there's the demand side, right, which relates to supply and the purchase order and when payment happens. Now, how did you navigate that aspect? And maybe let's start with the supply side. Like when you weren't able to get credit, how did you get the bridging finance? How did you?
Lucky for me, because I came from a corporate environment. I had resigned from work. I had some funds that I had kept aside because I've always known that I wanted to have a business. My company was registered in 2005, but I only started working around 2011. So that should tell you that I always wanted to run a business.
Okay.
And so I saved up money. It wasn't a lot of money, but I had some bit of money, and then I decided that I'm going to take money from my bond, from my home loan.
Okay.
Because I believed so much in my dream, and I saw it working. I didn't know that it was going to get me where I am today, but I knew that it was going to work. So I took money from my home loan, and we started buying material. My partner also helped me there and there to buy the machinery for the workshop. At that point in time, we were only two, just me and him. And then because we wanted to design and to develop some other products, and then we decided that let's get about 3 people that were going to help us. So we started off with 3 people. So luckily for me, I had that bit of money. So when everything just came together, and a couple of loans from family and friends also there and there to try and sustain. But it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. But we managed it, and we are here today.
I think one central aspect that I like and that you're mentioning is the aspect of self-reliance. Pulling in the resources you have and trying to find creative ways in which you can have the system running. And I can imagine now you're transitioning from having 3 employees, right? And today, how many employees do you have? And what has needed to change, in managing all these employees, either from a legal point of view, from a time point of view, from a motivational point of view?
I would say, again, for me, I'm lucky because I come from the corporate world. I've managed people before. So that adds... that adds to how or maybe that gives me some more experience with regards to managing people in general, because I've done it so many years before. So we have about 30 people now that we are employing. I was checking my head count this morning. We have actually 30 people that we are employing, and they people will always be people. They'll always find ways to not do what you want them to do. But my experience, I think, helps me to navigate all of those challenges that we have. And I think this morning when I was sitting and I was thinking about it, actually they are the ones that motivate me. They are the ones that makes me want to be here. Because when I think about them, and if I fail them, then I've failed 30 people plus their families. So I cannot have that. So for me, it's very important. My people are my world. Without them, I wouldn't have been where I am. I love them to bits. Sometimes we fight a lot, but I love them.
Yeah. And I think on that aspect of employees, right? I think it's incredibly important, as you're mentioning, having the right people in the business, right? And that, in essence, builds the business. So, what do you do as the business is growing and you're needing different skill sets, right? How do you go about your recruitment process, and how do you identify the right people for the business?
Okay, I think what is important now, I think from where we are now, we used to just ask for somebody who was, well, I wouldn't say lucky, we're hunting for people that have done the work that we are doing here now. So, but I think we want to now move away from that, because we need to develop our own products. We need to find innovative ways of handling, or of maybe supplying or offering to our customers. We cannot be stagnant and just want to do pallets and that should be the end of it. So we have decided, I think when we had a conversation yesterday, we've decided that we want to partner with the TVET colleges, because they are the ones that train your carpenters and your welders and your whatever. So we want to engage with them and find out if we can run competitions with their students, and see if we can develop products, new products that South Africa has never seen, or maybe enhance the products that we already have. So we want to engage with them, and let's run competitions there, and let's see what we can come up with. But we are all into coming up with product developments and products that can really serve South Africa and improve whatever that we have in this space.
And I like the aspect that you're speaking about youth development and FET colleges, because I don't know, there's a stigma maybe perhaps amongst young people that maybe you should go to university and not consider a college. But you know, on the inverse, with a college you have a more practical skill that you can apply in industry that can be marketable. What is your feel about TVET colleges?
No, I think TVET colleges are great. My son, my son, he's 19. He wanted to go to varsity, and I said, no, you're not going to varsity, you're going to a TVET college, because I understand that he's going to be there. Not only is he going to sit and study his books, but he's going to get the practical aspect of it. There's more exposure into the whole thing that he does. He gets to taste the work environment, he gets to taste how to be a student. So it's a mixture of both. So you're literally killing two birds with one stone for me, as far as I'm concerned. So then I encourage him to go to a TVET college. He's in a TVET college now. So I'm one of the people that believes that TVET colleges have so much to offer that maybe people don't really want to know about, or they're just ignorant about it. I'm not really sure. Or maybe they're not marketing it enough so that people understand what needs to happen. But I think that's where everything is at. And if people can teach, because we can't all have degrees, other people need to do the skills work. And the TVET colleges offers that opportunity for young people to do it. So,
and then quite interestingly, a lot of the innovation comes from the skills work, and then the other economy kind of supports the skills work.
And not
economy.
only that skill can also be transferred to somebody who hasn't gone to the TVET college. They can be taught, on the job training to do. They might not be expert in it, but they can play a support role to the skills guy who knows what he's doing, and the other one can still learn to do it. He might not be an expert in it, but he will know how to more or less do it. So it is not only a one-man skill, but it's a skill for the whole team. So that's what's great about it.
Yeah, and I think speaking on skills and innovation, ma'am, I think outside I noticed something very interesting with the business, right?
Yeah.
With how you deal with the offcuts.
Yeah.
Can you please just tell us what you do with your offcuts and
Okay, so maybe I would start by just explaining how the offcuts come about.
Okay.
And I know maybe it's one of the things that shouldn't be happening, but it's happening.
Okay.
Due to the scarcity maybe of the raw material, sometimes we would phone and the customer says, the supplier says, no, I don't have to, because usually we ask for specific sizes. So maybe we'll say, can you please give us the length of our blank? We wanted 2.6 because we want to cut 2 pieces in that. And then he will then say, no, I don't have 2.6s, but I have 3 meters. So we have that excess now because we only want 2.6 from our timber. So he will then say, no, I have 3 meters. So because we don't want to miss our deadlines, we want to deliver on time, we want to make sure our customers are happy, we then take those 3 meters, we cut them into size, and then we left with the off-cut.
Okay.
Right. So now the off-cut becomes waste.
Okay.
So now then we sat and we wanted to know, what do we then do with this waste? Because there's so much waste.
Okay.
During summertime, nobody buys the waste because it's hot. They don't want fire. They don't want, if there is somebody who buys, it's by luck. So we sit with these off-cuts for the whole year up until it's winter, because then winter people come and they buy because they want to use it for firewood.
Okay.
But for me, that is not good enough.
Okay.
We want to create a product that will replace what we're currently doing, and while we get some value also from our waste.
Okay.
So then we decided that we want to go biomass, and we create biomass pellets that you would use almost like you would use your charcoal.
Okay.
So instead of using charcoal, you would use wood.
Okay.
So we want to now, because of now capital is also one of my biggest problems, but there is a machine that you can sort of grind all your offcuts, and then you can put it in a pellet machine. There's a difference, a pallet and a pellet. So a pellet is like, those small particles that you generate, and you can use it to generate heat, you can use it to generate energy, and you can use it for your boilers also. People like Eskom, instead of using coal, they can use pellets. So we want to come up with something like that. It is one of our biggest projects that we have. In that way, we will then manage our waste, because our waste gets recycled and they get reused, and then we can resell it back either to Sasol or to Eskom or to anybody who wants to use it for generating heat or generating energy. So yeah.
And that's such an interesting aspect now. From the core business, you're scaling into something else, right? And I think sometime during the week we spoke about SIFA Small Scale Manufacturing Fund, which is a process that we, are still navigating and trying to compile the necessary documents.
Yeah.
But I think now we're still on that point, ma'am. How has Seda, the Department of Small Business, and the ecosystem assisted your specific business?
I was introduced to Seda by Sasol themselves,
Okay.
right? So they said there is this Seda, and I didn't really know what Seda was all about. I knew there was a Seda somewhere, but I didn't know what they were on about. And then when they first came into my offices, they then wanted to know how can they help me. At that point, I had already gotten an ESD loan via Sasol. So I then said to them, listen, I think for right now I need exposure into the market.
Okay.
And I need a marketing strategy, because those were the two things that I didn't have and I was struggling with. They then I had an opportunity to be invited for the She Trades program via Seda. And then I joined the program, and we had an opportunity to go and exhibit our products in all the exhibitions in South Africa. We've been to Mauritius to also form part of that exhibition. So it's not only in South Africa, but I think there was an opportunity to go in and explore the products outside of South Africa. And then they then helped me with the marketing strategy, how to set it up, and it is the strategy that up to this day we're using. That was last year sometime. So they have really helped me on, because that's what I wanted help on. I didn't, and now my request was very new. I knew exactly what is it that I wanted to do, and I knew exactly how they could help me. So it went well. I've got the strategy now. I still go to exhibitions and pop-up markets that are arranged by Seda. So, and they are very much in touch with my business. They visit me now then to find out where I'm at, and they want to check up on me. They want to make sure I'm okay, and then I'm still making money. I think that is the biggest thing.
And how many
so
employees?
and how many employees do you have? How many people have I employed? So we have a very good relationship.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I think maybe can you just touch on the aspect of the Mauritius trip, right?
Yeah.
What did you notice in Mauritius that was done differently to South Africa, and were there any opportunities that you could take advantage of?
I think there are opportunities that were there, but one thing that I took out of the Mauritius trip was that there is no labor market there.
Okay.
Everything they import.
Okay.
So my product would be easier because of the logistics into it. It would be easier for me to manufacture it in Mauritius.
Okay.
So they don't have a labor force there. It became very difficult so if I am to export my pallet, or if I am to export my timber, I'll just have to export timber and it ends there. So there were those bits and pieces of things that I couldn't bring together. And not only was it the Mauritius market, but I think I was also at a point where I don't think I was ready to do it myself.
Okay.
Because of the fact that I had a contract, and the contract was new, and I wanted to see that my contract is where I wanted it to be. So my focus was almost divided, if I may so say. I was more focused on perfecting what I'm doing now. But given a chance to do it again, I think I would extract more value from it, because then I'll go look at what can I change from currently what is happening wherever I go. So at that point in time, I wasn't really worried about or more concerned about what can I offer, but I wanted to offer what I have. But I think I need to go just a little bit further than just what I have, and find out what can I do outside of what I'm doing right now. So I would say I take learnings from it. I think I went there, I don't think I was prepared for what I found, and I didn't really know how to navigate everything. But like I say, given a chance, I think I would have a plan exactly how I want to go about it.
Yeah, and I guess that's the beauty of exposure, ma'am. With the beauty of exposure, you're able to see, synthesize, and diagnose and come up with an approach in the future in terms of what you would want to do. And I think one thing that was emphasized, or rather was emphasized by a lot of the people that were exhibiting yesterday at the petrochemical, was that sometimes with these exhibitions, it's not that the thing manifests immediately, but it could manifest 6 months down the line.
Already,
But then if you already have the business itself, it's easy to pivot and see opportunities within that line and context. But going back to the aspects of challenges, and I think one of the biggest challenges that we experience in South Africa, maybe not right now, for the past 100 days, but it's the elephant in the room, load shedding. How have you been able to navigate load shedding?
Well, load shedding is everybody's problem right now, especially if you run a business, because it takes from your profits, because you have to now come up with backup plans.
Okay.
So luckily, as part of my finance, Sasol had financed me to buy a generator.
Okay.
So we're using the generator. But now what I don't like about load shedding and how it has affected my business is that I would have bought petrol or diesel every day for my forklift and whatever. Now I have to buy for the generator as well, because now I need to use the generator. So it has affected our profit margins immensely. And not that I can do anything about it, but we sat and we thought the money that we spend buying petrol, maybe we could have saved that money and bought ourselves, get out of the grid in a way. And then I know the banks are now selling loans for us to be off the grid. It's something that we're really considering. Not only it's a short-term solution, but it's a long-term solution, because then we're going to save moving forward. You know what I mean? But load shedding has without a doubt has impacted on our profit margins. We're sharing the money with petrol now that we could be using to grow the business. So
So would you say
It's not
that
a very nice topic to talk
talk
about.
about
But yeah.
And then it hits you directly.
It
because
hits directly
it's
because it's in your pocket. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Would you say that over the 100 days where there hasn't been any load shedding, have you seen any noticeable differences in the
in the profit margins?
Yes,
absolutely. I mean, not only is petrol expensive itself, you know. If you really think about it, if I can save about 10,000 rands from what would have been my profit because I bought petrol and I can save that now, that's a plus for me, because then I can either use it to reinvest in my business, or I can use it to motivate my staff so that I can get more from them. So there's a lot that I can do with that money. So yeah, like I said, considering the fact that the petrol and diesel are expensive themselves, so and it goes up and down like crazy. So yeah, no, I think the 100 days have really saved us. We are able to either reinvest, or we are able to save up and think about our projects, like the ones that we want to do, the product development. We can invest that money into that project, and we can come up with new products. So yeah.
No, certainly, we certainly hope that the new administration at ESCOM can continue the good work that they've been doing. But Kemem, maybe in closing, right? What would you like to say, maybe perhaps to a younger self, your younger self, right? A person who's curious, who's inquisitive, who's wanting to go into business. What would you like to say? And perhaps maybe other people can draw a reference from that. Yeah,
I think as black women, and I know that there's a lot of black women, great and outstanding and phenomenal black women out there that would either want to start or that have already started. And I know sometimes things look as if they are not working, and they look like they are all over the place. When they look like they're almost not working, that's when you know that things are working. So you need to just never give up on your dreams, and stay focused. Don't let any distractions get you off track. And it always starts with the dream. So believe in your dreams and they will come true. Unfortunately, you have to work to get there. But I think that work is worth it at the end of the day. So I would like to encourage anybody who wants to start or who wants to continue where they've started, and that they must never, ever, ever give up on their dreams, because they will come true one day.
That's beautiful, man. That's a very beautiful message to leave us with. Where can we find you in terms of email address, contact details, social media?
Okay, we are on social media. On Facebook is Umvemvane Trading Enterprise, and then Twitter is Umvemvane E2, and then Instagram is Umvemvane Trading Enterprise. Yeah, and then otherwise else you can get us on our website is www.utetrading.co.za. That's where you can get hold of us and our products and all our details.
And you've heard this amazing story coming from the land of dreams, Secunda. And you can find them on their social media pages. So this video will be uploaded on our YouTube. And you can also find us on social media, on all the major social media platforms, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. We are Seda, Seda being the Small Enterprise Development Agency. So please be on the lookout for this video. Go to our YouTube channel, watch all the inspirational content, educate yourself, because there's so much to learn from amazing people in South Africa, such as Mrs. Nkabinde. Thank you very much.